My name is Samantha. Just the other day, my boyfriend Michael proposed to me. Standing in front of a beautifully lit fountain, I was deeply moved when Michael got down on one knee and offered me an engagement ring.
Please, marry me. I promise to make you happy.
I tearfully accepted the ring and said yes to Michael, who assured me happiness. Indeed, Michael said,
I promise to make you happy.
but that's all words. A shocking event unfolded just a week before our wedding. Up until then, everything had been peaceful. Family meetings had gone smoothly. Both our parents got along well, which was a big relief for me. However, Amelia, Michael's sister-in-law, always greeted me with a tight smile. That had me concerned. Michael and I planned to get our marriage certificate issued after the wedding. We wanted to do it on our anniversary, but we were set to start living together a week before the wedding. My in-laws are farmers and own extensive land in the countryside. We were going to build our new home just a few minutes away from where my in-laws and brother and sister-in-law live on the property. Though I felt a bit guilty about having a new home built, my mother-in-law said kindly, "As long as you help with the farming, it's all good." I studied agriculture in college. I have always had an interest in farming and was looking forward to joining the family business. Even before we got married, I would frequently help out, and the in-laws always welcomed me. Initially, I was worried about starting our married life on the in-laws' property, but I felt that we could live harmoniously with them. But one day, while I was helping with the farming as usual, Amelia approached me discreetly and whispered, "Be careful of your father-in-law." Caught off guard, all I could say was, "Huh?" Amelia looked like she wanted to say more, but our conversation was cut short as my father-in-law called out to us from a distance, leaving me puzzled about why she said that. With just a week left until the wedding, everything was set and all that remained was to walk down the aisle. I packed my things and moved into our new home to start living with Michael. We rented a truck, loaded it with our belongings, and headed to our new place, with my dad helping us move. I had come to help with the farming, but today was the first day we were going to our newly built home. Dad and I couldn't help but tilt our heads in confusion as we stood in front of it. It seemed like someone was already living in the home that was supposed to be for Michael and me. The door was unlocked, so we gently opened it to find shoes lined up in the entryway. Confused by the obvious signs that someone was living there, Dad and I decided to go greet my in-laws before starting the moving process. When we rang the doorbell, a troubled-looking Michael came out. We told him it looked like someone was living in our new home, to which Michael replied, something was definitely off. And as we puzzled over it, father-in-law appeared saying,
Sorry about that. Without prior notice, we have decided Michael and Samantha will live here. Could you move your stuff in? We moved David and Amelia to the new house.
David and Amelia are my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Suddenly I remembered what Amelia had warned me about, to watch out for father-in-law. I couldn't help but blurt out, "This is a problem." I was planning on starting our new life in that house. I wasn't informed that I would be living with father-in-law and mother-in-law. Why didn't Michael tell me?
That's,
Seeing Michael hesitate only fueled my growing irritation. From his behavior, it was clear Michael knew we would be living together all along. Keeping that a secret until moving day was absolutely unacceptable. Father-in-law, seemingly displeased by my reaction, said,
If you're married, it shouldn't matter if you live together or apart.
Although I had intended to help with the farm and didn't object to living on the same property as my in-laws, living together was another matter entirely. Living together or apart are completely different matters, I countered. Dad backed me up.
It feels like you're taking our daughter for granted by informing us after the fact on such an important matter. We would like a proper explanation.
Confronted by Dad's firm stance, Father-in-law reluctantly answered.
Well, you understand, don't you? It's better to have a young wife at home. Amelia has passed 30, entering middle age. Just having a young girl like Samantha around invigorates me. That's why we chose to live with Samantha and send the older wife to the new house.
Dad and I were at a loss for words. Father-in-law's comment suggested he viewed his son's wife merely as a woman. The audacity of father-in-law who talked as if he was saying something entirely reasonable was frightening. Michael, was it because I'm young that we're living in this house? I looked to Michael for some relief, but he stayed silent. Whether he was uncomfortable or what, he bit his lip and didn't say a word. That's when Amelia showed up. Samantha, hi there. Amelia, her face smudged with dirt as if she had been doing some farming, looked at me intently. You might want to leave today. Living in a home where you're not welcome is just torturous.
What's your problem? You're just the wife, yet you talk back so sassily? You used to be so cute, but you have lost your charm lately.
Father-in-law was furious at Amelia's words. Michael stood there silently observing the tension. Creeped out by the whole scene, I told Dad, let's go. Dad agreed to leave for the day. Michael and I decided to have a serious talk tomorrow. Back at my parents' home, I wept in my bed for a while. Why did this have to happen? I felt so devastated. I couldn't imagine being happy, marrying Michael who just followed his father's whims. While pondering what to say to Michael tomorrow, I received a phone call. I didn't recognize the number, but I decided to take the leap and answer. It's Amelia. A familiar voice echoed. Amelia, thank you for today. I'm sorry for calling you so suddenly. I found your number on Michael's phone without his permission, so please keep this call a secret from him. My body tensed up as I wondered what Amelia had to risk so much to tell me. Then Amelia started saying something shocking. I have been wanting to tell you this but never got the chance. I apologize for it coming so last minute before your wedding. I highly discourage you from marrying Michael. The information Amelia shared was jarring. She said that she and her husband had been living with the in-laws, but were kicked out as soon as they learned I was moving in. According to father-in-law, it's because he wants to live with a younger woman. Father-in-law has a thing for younger women and he has cheated on mother-in-law, causing her emotional pain for years. Apparently, father-in-law has even intentionally walked into the changing room after Amelia took a bath saying, "Oops, my bad," with a lecherous grin. He had broken the lock himself and claimed it was an accident, but Amelia knew better. He had also rummaged through their bedroom under the pretense of cleaning and uncomfortably clung to Amelia while she cooked. Amelia was deeply in love with her husband David, and they have children, so she had been hesitant. But being kicked out this time solidified her decision to divorce. After hearing all this, there's no way I could proceed with the marriage. Amelia and I made a pact to take revenge on Michael, David, and father-in-law. I arrived at my in-laws the next day and was greeted by Amelia. We nodded at each other and entered the house where Michael, David, and my in-laws had gathered for a discussion. Thank you all for coming, I started, locking eyes with Michael. Let's call off the engagement. A stunned Michael listened as I continued. You promised to make me happy, Michael. Yet you're fine with me living with this father-in-law? That's allowing me to suffer, right? I won't marry a man who's still controlled by his parents. You changed our housing plans without consulting me, so you are paying the cancellation fees for the wedding. Huh? Michael yelled in anger, but father-in-law was even more furious.
What do you mean by this father-in-law? What don't you like about me?
Don't Michael and David know? Both averted their eyes amidst the awkward silence. Amelia calmly recounted what father-in-law had done to her. Both Michael and David knew about father-in-law's invasive behavior, like spying on her in the changing room or rummaging through their bedroom. All this done without mother-in-law's knowledge. Mother-in-law's face gradually reddened as Amelia unveiled father-in-law's actions. Seeking support, father-in-law turned to his sons.
I didn't do any of that, right?
Cornered by mother-in-law, Michael and David looked down, essentially confirming it. What the heck? You did that to your daughter-in-law? That's repulsive. Unbelievable.
I didn't.
So the engagement is off. Clearly, you won't protect me. Seeing what Amelia has endured, living with father-in-law is unacceptable. While an infuriated mother-in-law launched at father-in-law, I told Michael so. Michael stayed quiet, seemingly admitting the only option was to break off the engagement. Beside me, Amelia handed David pre-filled divorce papers. David, who had been pitying Michael and father-in-law until now, was shocked by the papers.
Why all of a sudden?
He stammered. You never stood up for me. If I kept thinking about what father-in-law might do to our daughter, I couldn't continue living with you, please. Let's get divorced, Amelia said. David stared at the divorce papers, his hands trembling. Large tears dropped from his eyes, but Amelia was unwavering. I have extras if you make a mistake, she said, handing him a pen, which he took while still crying. Caught between his brother's tears and their parents' major blow-up, Michael must have been struggling too.
I really love Samantha. I knew Dad was a womanizer, but going against him wasn't an option, especially in this small town.
I can forgive you for making decisions behind my back, favoring your father over me. No matter what Michael says, I have made up my mind to break off the engagement. Our parents are furious at Michael, so there is no going back now. Michael seemed devastated.
Is that so?
He wiped away a tear from his eyes. Being in the same space with a sobbing brother and a feuding couple felt like hell on earth. After Amelia got David to draft the divorce papers, we headed to our new place. I looked after her daughter while Amelia packed up her stuff. She plans to file for divorce today and head back to her parents' home with her daughter. Thank you so much for helping me dodge a bullet with that family. No worries, I wish I had told you sooner. We both chose the wrong men. But let's make sure we're happy from here on out. Amelia, who always seems so cool, had a charming smile. After watching Amelia walk away, hand in hand with her cheerful daughter, I returned to my family home. Later, I made sure Michael paid for the wedding cancellation fees. He seemed fully aware of his wrongdoings and paid without any resistance, which I appreciated. Michael's family lived in a rural area where gossip is the wife's main form of entertainment. Naturally, Michael's family became the target of good gossip. After all that fuss, even his mom ended up divorcing his dad. Their family became infamous as the household both sons' fiancés ran away from. Since I work in agriculture, I sometimes hear rumors about Michael's family. After his mom left, his dad drowned his sorrows in alcohol. The farm work, once shared between his parents, Michael, David, and Amelia, is now solely on Michael and David. They had to scale down their large farm because they couldn't manage it anymore. Though I was initially upset about breaking off the engagement with Michael, I have recovered now. I am not interested in dating or marrying for a while, just focusing on work and my hobbies. Thinking back, I am relieved I didn't become part of that family, and I'm forever grateful to Amelia.